There are quite a few of these fat, heavy American bricks in this game. The most popular of which being the Charger Hellcat and this ZL1 1LE. Them being so heavy and so unaerodynamic, well, I should say slippery, means that they don't get particularly high top speed. They just rely on their brute force and their power and torque to push them through the air rather than any real sort of slippery design, which is why these don't top out very high no matter how hard I tried. This is a top speed tune, if you didn't realize, for the ZL1 1LE package, one of the very first high performance American cars you end up winning on the actual menu books. So following this, we'll show the tune and then we'll show what it's like on the track. Now for the actual tune, I've gone for racing soft tires. For the suspension, you'd want your ride height on 80 front and back, anti-roll on 8, compression on 40, expansion on 45, natural frequencies on 2.4. I've put 1 degree on camber front and back, and then toe on 0. For the diff, I've gone for 60-60-20. That's what I usually do. I probably need to do more research into what the diff does. I think it's mainly cornering and potentially how it deals with like wheel spin in a straight line, but I don't think it affects top speed at all. Downforce, I took the rear spoiler off. This car has non-adjustable downforce as standard, so I ended up taking the spoiler off and it took a little bit of downforce off anyway, so I ended up doing that. ECU on 100, ballast and all that is optional for if you want to use this for other races. So for the transmission, we do what's known as a transmission flip. So I will reset the transmission like that. You keep the adjustments by itself. So the final drive should be at 3.73. And then the top speed should be at 350 already. And then you want to go, I just adjusted the gears slightly. So I went 2.656 on the first gear. Then on the second gear, I put 1.711, which is down a bit. Then for third gear, I put 1.315. For fourth gear, I put 1.033. Okay, that was a bit weird. You see how it skips? You see that, how it skips 33? That's a bit weird. But I shouldn't really make much of a difference. I'll keep that in. I won't edit that out. 0.815 is fifth gear. And then sixth gear is 0.787. So if you adjusted sixth gear first, like straight away, you wouldn't have been able to get this. I think it goes to the highest you could adjust it to was like 0.76. So it's really weird how like pre-adjusting your gears can give you a different range for the other gears. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's like an actual thing. But then you'd want to take your final gear down to 2.445. That should give you a top speed of about 516 k's an hour or 17, something like that. We'll check. .445, not 455, sorry. There we go. So yeah, 521 k's, and you see how it's adjusted already. So I'll bring that back up, and then all the other gears are pretty much the same. You'll be cruising in fifth, and then sixth gear will be your drafting gear. So you'll be cruising at about 240, and your nitrous will get you up to 270. Similar to the Skyline, but because this has a lot more aero and is a lot heavier, their power to weight is almost the same. So we'll head over to the track and we'll see how it performs. So I'll split this up into a few sections. The first being about the car, the second being about Route X and shenanigans, and then the third bit being about what's going on with my video schedule and stuff. So obviously focusing on the car first, It's pretty slow in a straight line compared to anything else. It's a brick and it's got aero on it, which two things which don't help you in a straight line. This will cruise happily in 5th gear at about 240 and then get to 270 with nitrous. And then obviously if you add some slipstream in there in an online lobby, which are quite difficult to find, especially when you're NAT type, it doesn't allow you to join any online lobbies. It could get you to 280, maybe 290 with a tow from like a Tomahawk or something. But if you've noticed, this car with racing exhaust sounds shit. You can tell it's artificial. You can tell it's not based on like a real noise. It's very buzzy. You can tell it's like, it sounds like the interference noise you get down a microphone, which is kind of annoying. This is definitely a track car, and if you want to use it as a track car, do not put the racing exhaust on if you want, or unless you want to have a headache at the end of the day, to be honest. Moving on to the next part about Route X. The back straight, as most of us have discovered, is consistently faster than the pit straight. You always get 5 miles an hour more, and it's not got to do with the wind. The wind does make an effect overall to the times. So if you're getting a tailwind on the pit straight, you'll be up a few miles an hour than usual. But if you go on the back straight, obviously you're going the other way, so that's turned into a headwind. Yet you're going faster with the headwind than you are going with the tailwind, which is also really weird. Unless the back straight is consistently downhill at a really shallow angle, then that would make sense. Otherwise, I wouldn't really know why else there would be such an inconsistency on the same track. Unless there's active wind and it's not updating underneath the map in the top right, like the arrow direction doesn't update with the wind, and I'm actually just getting a consistent push on the back straight, sorry. So that's more Route X shenanigans. We hit 270 with NOS here, as you can see. My internet's still down, so I'm still running everything off data. The PlayStation's off data, the uploading the videos are on data. I want to upload at least 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with either some sort of tune or some sort of piece of information. But I can't really do that with no internet. So I'll leave it on that. Let me know what other tunes you want in the comments or any other information. I'll try to answer it. I heart most comments. I read all the comments. I don't get many, which is why I can read them. And I'll leave it on that. Like, subscribe, stay active on the channel, and I'll catch you lot in the next video.